The night before the exam, Greenfield University did not sleep. Lights were on in almost every hostel room. Some students read aloud, some whispered prayers, some cried quietly. Exam season had come again, and fear walked freely on campus. But inside room 308, old male hostel, one student sat alone on his bed, staring at his result sheet. His name was Emeka Okorie, and he was in trouble. Emeka was 22 years old, dark-skinned, slim, and always looked tired. His eyes carried a permanent worry, like someone who had been running for a long time without rests. He was in his third year, but on paper, he was still moving like a first-year student. He had failed Introduction to Statistics twice. He had failed research methods once. And now, he was about to write statistics again. If he failed it one more time, the school rules were clear. Withdrawal. No warning. No appeal. Just a letter telling him to pack his things and go home. Emeka wasn't lazy. He attended lectures. He read at night. He even joined group discussions. But anytime he entered the exam hall, his brain would go blank. Things he read overnight disappeared like smoke. His hands would shake. His heart would race. And when the papers were marked, red ink followed his name everywhere. People started calling him names. Repeat master. Carryover king. The guy that never passes. He laughed with them during the day. At night, he cried. Emeka came from a small town in Anambra State. His father was a retired civil servant. His mother sold food by the roadside. They were not rich, but they believed in education with all their hearts. Every time Emeka went home, his mother would say, "My son, endure it. School is hard, but it ends." Emeka would nod and smile, but deep inside, he was scared. That night, his roommate Kelechi was reading seriously. "Guy, you know they read?" Kelechi asked. Emeka shook his head. "I don't even know what to read again." Kelechi closed his book slowly. Emeka looked up. "What do you mean?" Kelechi hesitated. Then he said quietly, "Some people use help." "What kind of help?" Emeka asked. Kelechi didn't answer. "Just don't fail again," he said, and walked out. The room became quiet. Too quiet. Emeka lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling fan that wasn't working. His phone buzzed. A message from his father. "We are praying for you. Make us proud." That was when the thought returned. The one he had pushed away for months. There was a rumor on campus about a man who lived near the abandoned cocoa farm behind the school. They said students who visited him suddenly started passing exams. Some graduated with first class. Some became rich. But those who talked too much about it disappeared. Emeka had laughed when he first heard it. But tonight, laughter didn't come. At 12:11 a.m., Emeka stood up. He wore a hoodie, slipped on his slippers, and walked out of the hostel quietly. No one stopped him. The path behind the school was dark and bushy. Crickets sang, leaves rustled. The farther he walked, the colder the air became. After almost 30 minutes, he saw a small mud house with a lantern burning outside. A red cloth was tied around the doorpost. His heart beat fast. He knocked once. The door opened slowly by itself. Inside, the air smelled of smoke and old leaves. Animal bones lay in one corner. Bottles filled with dark liquid lined the wall. A low drum rested on the floor. And sitting in the middle of the room was an old man. His eyes were sharp and black. "You are late," the man said calmly. Emeka froze. I was told." "You came because you are failing," the man said. "Sit." Emeka sat, sweating. "You want to pass your exams," the man continued. "You want respect. You want your life to move forward." "Yes," Emeka whispered. "I can help you," the man said, bringing out a small leather charm, tied with a red string. Emeka's eyes widened. The man smiled slowly. "For every course you pass with this charm," he said, "1 year of your life will be taken." The room went silent. Emeka laughed nervously. "1 year? That's just talk." The man leaned closer. "You won't feel it at first." Emeka thought of the withdrawal letter, of shame, of going home as a failure. "1 year," he muttered. "I have many." The man tied the charm and handed it to him. "Wear it always," he said, "and never count." The next day, Emeka entered the exam hall calm. The questions were easy. His pen moved fast. When the result came out 2 weeks later, he saw it. People clapped for him. Lecturers smiled. His parents rejoiced. But that night, as Emeka removed his shirt, he noticed something. His chest hurt. His bones felt heavy. And when he looked into the mirror, he saw 2 gray hairs on his head were real. He touched them gently, as if they might disappear if he didn't disturb them. "Stress," he whispered to himself. "It's just stress." He laughed softly and went to bed. But sleep did not come easily that night. When Emeka finally slept, he dreamed. He saw himself standing in the exam hall alone. The seats were empty. The clock on the wall was ticking loudly, too loudly. Tick, tick, tick. Each tick sounded like a hammer hitting wood. Then he noticed something strange. Every time the clock ticked, his hands changed. They grew older. Wrinkles formed. Veins stood out. His fingers thinned. Emeka screamed and woke up, sweating. The next morning, he felt weak, not sick, just drained, like someone who had not slept for days. He went to class anyway. People congratulated him. Some students looked at him with respect now. Even lecturers greeted him differently. "Good job, Emeka," one said. "Keep it up." Emeka smiled. But inside, something felt wrong. More exams came. And Emeka did not read. He didn't need to. Anytime he entered the exam hall, answers came to him easily. Questions looked familiar, even when he hadn't opened the book. His pen moved without effort. One course passed. Then another. Then another. A's and B's filled his result sheet. His CGPA rose quickly. People started asking questions. "Guy, wetin you dey use?" Kelechi asked one evening. Emeka laughed. "Hard work." Kelechi stared at him. "No lie to me." Emeka shrugged. "Maybe my time has come." But that night, when Emeka removed his shirt, he noticed more changes. 3 more gray hairs. His eyes looked sunken. His back hurt when he bent down. He checked his phone. He was only 22, but his body felt older. Weeks passed. Emeka passed 7 courses that semester. 7. He should have been celebrating, but each success came with a prize. One morning, Emeka woke up and realized he couldn't remember something simple. His roommate's full name. Kelechi, he muttered. The name refused to come fully. He laughed it off. One evening, while washing his face, Emeka looked into the mirror again. This time, he didn't recognize the person staring back. His face looked sharper, older, tired. He counted the gray hairs. There were many now. Too many. His heart began to beat fast. That night, he dreamt again. He was in the small mud house near the cocoa farm. The old man sat on his stool, smiling. "You didn't count, did you?" the man asked. Emeka tried to speak, but his mouth wouldn't open. "For every course," the man continued, "time moves." The man pointed behind Emeka. Emeka turned. He saw many versions of himself, younger ones. They stood in a line, fading one after another. Emeka woke up screaming. By the next semester, Emeka had become popular. People who once mocked him now begged for help. "Please, just explain this topic. Guy, help me pray. Introduce me to your source." Emeka avoided questions. He focused on passing because passing felt good. It felt like winning, but his body continued to betray him. His knees hurt when he climbed stairs. His eyes hurt when he read for too long. His hairline began to shift back slowly. One night, while studying alone, Emeka felt a sharp pain in his chest. He held his shirt and gasped. The room felt cold. The bulb flickered. Then he heard it. A ticking sound. Tick, tick, tick. It wasn't coming from a clock. It was coming from inside him. Panicked, Emeka rushed out of the hostel and ran. He didn't know where he was going. His legs carried him automatically. Through the bush path, past the cocoa farm, to the mud house. The lantern was still burning. The red cloth still hung on the door. He burst inside. "Stop it!" Emeka shouted. "Something is wrong." The old man looked up calmly. "You came to complain?" he asked. "I'm getting old," Emeka cried. "I'm forgetting things. I'm sick." The old man nodded slowly. "You are paying." Emeka fell to his knees. "Take the charm back. I don't want it again." The old man laughed. "A transaction is not reversed," he said. "You agreed." "I didn't understand," Emeka shouted. "You understood enough," the man replied. Emeka's voice broke. "How many years have you taken?" The old man leaned forward. "You passed 7 courses," he said. 7 years. Emeka froze. 7, he whispered. "That is why your body feels strange," the man said. Time moved faster. Emeka's heart dropped. "I still have more exams," he said weakly. The man smiled. "Then time will keep moving." Emeka ran out crying. The night air felt heavy. He suddenly realized something worse. He was not just losing years. He was losing time to live. From that day, fear followed Emeka everywhere. He skipped meals. He avoided mirrors. He avoided friends. But exams did not stop. Courses waited. Carryovers waited. And pressure returned. One evening, Emeka sat on his bed, staring at his books. If he failed now, withdrawal would come. If he passed, more years would be taken. Either way, his phone buzzed. A message from his mother. "We are proud of you." Emeka dropped the phone. Tears fell freely. That night, he made a decision. If time was being taken, then he needed to know how much time he had left. He returned to the cocoa farm again. This time, the old man was waiting. "You came to ask a question," the man said. Emeka nodded slowly. "How long do I have left?" he asked. The old man stood up and pointed to the wall. On it were marks, tall marks, short marks, like someone counting height or age. "You are standing here now." Emeka followed the finger. His breath caught. The mark was low, very low. "How many years?" Emeka whispered. The old man smiled. "Enough to graduate," he said, "but not enough to enjoy it." Emeka staggered backward. "No," he whispered. The lantern flickered. The ticking sound returned. Louder. Tick, tick, tick. That night, Emeka returned to the hostel shaking. He lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Outside, students laughed. Inside, Emeka felt himself aging. Fast, too fast. And the worst part was this: the charm was still working. That was the most frightening part. Emeka passed his next test without reading. He didn't even remember entering the exam hall. One moment he was sitting outside, staring at his shoes. The next moment, he was submitting his script. When the result came out, it was an A again. People cheered for him. Emeka felt nothing. His body was changing faster now. His shoulders bent slightly forward when he walked. His knees cracked when he climbed stairs. Sometimes, when he laughed, his chest hurt. One morning, he woke up and couldn't recognize his own voice. It sounded deeper, older. Kelechi noticed it first. "Guy, you dey okay?" he asked. "You don't slim and age suddenly." Emeka forced a smile. "Stress." Kelechi shook his head. "This stress too much." Emeka didn't answer. Because how could he explain that time was eating him alive? He started avoiding people. He stopped answering calls from home. Each ring of his phone reminded him that the people who loved him believed he still had many years ahead. But Emeka knew the truth. One night, the ticking returned, louder than ever. Tick, tick, tick. He clutched his chest and gasped. The room felt like it was shrinking. His breath became shallow. He crawled to the mirror and looked at himself. He almost screamed. The face staring back at him was not the face of a 22-year-old student. It was the face of a man in his late 30s. Lines around the eyes, gray hair spreading, skin losing its tightness. Emeka fell to the floor, crying. "I just wanted to pass," he whispered. "That's all I wanted." The ticking answered him. Final exams approached. Graduation was near. Students celebrated, took pictures, made plans. Emeka counted days. Not to graduation, to the end. One afternoon, a lecturer stopped him. "You're doing very well," the man said, "but you should see the school clinic. You don't look fine." Emeka nodded politely, and walked away. He knew doctors couldn't help him. This wasn't sickness, it was payment. The charm burned against his chest now. Sometimes it felt hot, sometimes cold. He tried removing it once. The pain nearly killed him. His vision went dark. He never tried again. On the day of his final paper, Emeka sat alone under a tree. Students laughed nearby, taking pictures. Someone called out, "Graduate." Emeka smiled weakly. When he stood up, his legs shook. He entered the exam hall slowly. Answered everything. Passed again. Graduation day came. Emeka wore his gown. His parents arrived, smiling proudly. His mother hugged him tightly. "My son, you look tired," she said, "but I'm happy." Emeka swallowed hard. His father held his shoulder. "You made it." Emeka nodded. He wanted to cry. As names were called, Emeka stepped forward. Applause filled the hall. Cameras flashed. In that moment, the ticking stopped. For the first time in a long while, there was silence. That night, Emeka didn't return to the hostel. He walked alone toward the cocoa farm. The lantern was still burning. The old man was waiting. "You graduated," the man said calmly. "Yes." "You are done passing exams," the man continued. Emeka nodded. The old man stood up. "Then time will stop taking," he said. Relief rushed through Emeka. "But," the man added, "it will now collect what remains." Emeka's heart froze. "What remains?" he whispered. The old man pointed at him. "You borrowed against your future," he said. "There is no future left." The ticking returned. Violent. Fast. Emeka screamed as pain tore through his body. His knees hit the ground. His hair turned fully gray. His skin wrinkled rapidly. His breath became shallow. By the time the pain stopped, Emeka lay still on the floor. Old. Very old. The charm fell from his chest. Silence. His parents waited for him to return home. Days passed, then weeks. His phone stopped connecting. At first, they believed he was busy with work or celebrating with friends. When worry grew, they traveled to the university, only to hear confusing stories that Emeka left campus alone that same night. No one knew where he went. His mother cried endlessly, calling his name in her sleep. His father searched hospitals, police stations, and churches. They never found his body. To them, Emeka did not die. He simply vanished, leaving behind pride mixed with endless pain. The next morning, students heard strange news. A corpse was found near the abandoned cocoa farm. An old man. No ID. No injuries. Just old. Weeks later, Kelechi packed his things. As he cleaned the room, something fell from under Emeka's bed. A small leather charm tied with red string. Kelechi stared at it. Slowly, he picked it up, and outside, somewhere far, he threw it away. Morals of the story: there are shortcuts that move you forward, and shortcuts that remove you from time itself. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment for more interesting stories.